Volunteers in the town of Petersburg are rushing to build barricades to prevent floodwater from entering town. News Channel 20 Sunrise reporter Evan Peterson live in Petersburg this morning with reaction from people who've been on the scene all night helping out. Evan?
A very tense morning in the town of Petersburg as the village braces itself for the floodwaters, which are just over the barricades here. Joining me is John Stilt. He's the mayor of Petersburg. John, you've been out here all morning. How's things looking?
Well, right now we're getting ahead of it. We started in again this morning about 2 o'clock. The breach came in a little early on the road down here, which is Highway 123.
And you can see the water if you look just over the barricades, over the sand piles here. What's the water currently at right now, and what's it supposed to crest at?
Right now it's at 29.5, which they originally told us that would be 29.5 about noon, so it's coming in early. Crest is at 33.1, which is not expected to happen until tomorrow night about midnight.
The water is going to keep rising, and as you look over the barricade, you can actually see some of the businesses that have fortified around there. What's the game plan right now? Just building walls to keep the water out?
The wall we built about 1,800 feet is to try to keep the water from this side of the railroad tracks. So everything, most of the houses, there's probably over 100 some houses, a lot of businesses here. We fortified the businesses on the other side, figured up what their elevations were, and we think they'll be safe. The main thing was to keep the water from flowing in here because it's the last time in 1943 it did get up the lights.
It's the 11th hour here in the village of Petersburg as residents brace themselves for the floodwaters from the Sangamon River that are rapidly encroaching on the town. Joining me to my left to talk about this is the mayor of the town. Mr. Mayor, how are things looking this morning? You've been out here since yesterday. What's the situation as the sun starts to rise?
Well, the situation is the water is coming up faster than they thought. And we're watching the computer system that feeds off of the river itself, and we're getting pretty deep quickly.
You said it's cut about half a day out of your time here. As you can see, we've jumped the barricade and we're kind of on the front lines of the flood. The water, you can watch it literally just roll in. What's been the biggest surprise to you this morning as you've been erecting the wall?
The biggest surprise is we thought we had about an extra 4 hours, and the water's coming in quicker, so those 4 hours are gone. It's a good thing we started about 2 o'clock again this morning.
Now, you have the barricade just off to the camera here. Tell us a little bit about the wall. You said it runs parallel to 4th Street down here.
It is a levee that we have built for almost 1,800 feet, and the idea it's 4 feet high. We're going to try to keep the water back on the east side of this and keep the town dry on the west side.
Now, if you turn the camera, I want to show you a little bit of this wall. It runs parallel with the train tracks too. The train has been shut off, so you don't have to worry about a train coming through here and hitting the water, or worse, breaking a hole in the wall.
The trains are shut down. They've been shut down for a couple of days, and they will not run until they inform us they're going to run again. Okay. And 123 is shut down also.
A record amount of water rushing into the city. Since yesterday, the village and its leaders had been preparing for this torrential amount of flooding. But their key to their success here in keeping the water out of this town is what you see behind me. Sand and volunteers. Over the past couple of days, hundreds of volunteers have showed up here in the town of Petersburg, shovel and sand in hand, building this wall. This is the barricade that's separating them from tons and tons of water. One of the gentlemen helping out here today, giving up his free time, is Matt. He's a volunteer. He's also the superintendent of schools. Yep. Matt, what brought you out here?
Just helping the community out. That's what we do.
You've been out here since yesterday. You've been wearing your hip waders. What has been the biggest struggle for you guys as you've been, again, loading up this wall back here?
Biggest struggle is getting enough sand in here. We have a lot of volunteers. As you can see, we have groups like this everywhere. It's just keeping the sand coming so we can keep the bags full.
As the school superintendent, you've also been in charge of, as you said, kind of directing students who've been saying, hey, I want to lend a hand and help. What's that been like?
Oh, we have a phone system, emergency call phone system, so that's a great way to get a hold of our kids. And of course, they're always willing to volunteer. And the families are here. In fact, everybody's showing up like families, so.
Yeah, well, and I want to show you the wall that they've been putting together. If you turn the camera this way, you can see the wall, people as far past the way down. It's probably about 3 or 4 blocks, but just like that, with the volunteers and the emergency crews helping, you also see the standing water. Again, because this is going to be what some say could be a record-breaking amount of water, they're having a hard time holding the line. And worst case scenario, city officials saying that they do have an emergency plan in place, that all they have to do in case this levee breaks and this barricade breaks, they're going to sound the tornado siren. Then people living on the blocks of 3rd Street and 4th and 5th, they're going to need to evacuate in order to get away from the water.